Okay, so what is up everyone? This is another kind of Ashes of Creation update video. I was saying I was going to try and move away from not being monthly, but after effectively two pieces of news has dropped, being the AMA with Steven Sharif as well as, or Sharif, hope I get that right, as well as of course the July dev update, which I thought was replaced by the AMA, but it turns out no. The AMA was just an added extra. So if you didn't see the AMA, I'll put it in the description below for you guys to watch afterwards. Basically, it's an hour and a half of Steven basically just going through a bunch of questions. Nothing really new to cover. If you know, I feel like I've covered most of what he's said. So nothing really new to unpack there, but it's very interesting to watch, particularly if you're new to kind of Ashes of Creation and kind of the information that's been given out so far. I've obviously done a lot of kind of catching up to do. I've gone through a lot of the old dev updates, and that kind of leads us into yesterday's, or the day before yesterday's, depending on whether this gets uploaded on Saturday or Sunday, the new July dev update, which I have made 4 notes, 4 points. So I'm planning on keeping this pretty short. I'm going to show about 10 minutes of the new gameplay that they showed in this July dev update. They are currently flying through one of the dungeons that unlocks at level 10, if the current node is leveled up enough, I believe. So, the main thing I wanted to mention at the very beginning is that they're increasing their work on particle effects and getting more of them in-game now. So, as you're watching this gameplay, everything from like the fire, which you can see, but some of the more subtle particle effects, are now starting to be put into the kind of the pre-alpha build, which is just worth noting because, I mean, look at it right now. It looks great. It looks really good. So I just wanted to mention that, kind of preface it so people don't, just so people can look out for it during this gameplay. They've also shown kind of the leveling up kind of animation. It's like a golden kind of light. It's kind of your standard fantasy RPG MMO level up effect. They didn't show any sound with it. I really hope, because for me personally, when I level up, it's the sound that gives me the nostalgia. I think of like MW2, Black Ops 1, etc. When I level up, it used to feel badass because I used to hear that like leveling up noise, and I was like, damn. It wasn't really about something on screen. But it's still cool. I do like a nice, you know, leveling up thing, like on ESO. It's like a nice bright light, cool. But I think the sound is more important, so I'll be interested to see if what they do in that area. But that's quite a small thing, you know, leveling up, but it's quite interesting. Now the main kind of couple of things that he talked about. One was that you're going to get master sets, and effectively to make the highest level of gear. As a crafter, you'll get master tool sets, which will allow you to then harvest the master resources. Now, what he said was that there's actually 3 types of gatherables, or resources, whatever you want to call them. Your one-time gatherables. If you've played ESO or anything like that, you go up to a tree or you know, an ore vein, whatever. And you mine it, and you take the resource, and it disappears, and then it regenerates somewhere else nearby for when the next player comes along. So there's that sort of resource. But there's another 2 types, which I think is quite interesting. There's moving resources, which they didn't really specify exactly what these moving resources are going to be. Like, are they going to be big animals or what? I don't know. But then there's also going to be gatherable veins. So there will be areas like mines that will just have ores that can be continuously mined, as long as you have the proper equipment to do so, which is cool. I think that's just it's an extra level of depth that most games just haven't done when it comes to kind of resources. I just hope the crafting side of things is good. It's all well and good having loads of resources and loads of ways to gather resources, but I hope that kind of the 3 stages of production, as they've kind of envisioned, I just hope it's really quite a good process, that the one that's enjoyable. I get the idea that there's, like, you know, loads of job roles and you can only really specialize in 1 or 2, so that you're going to have to that in-game economy is going to have to boom so you can buy stuff to end up making stuff. Or, you know, so that makes sense. So, you know, I think it's one of those things where everything's work in progress. So anything I say is probably going to change. So it's interesting to see what they're saying now and what they have said and what they're potentially saying. So that's really interesting to see. As well as that, actually in this dungeon here, they were talking about how you can contest rooms in dungeons. Now maybe I've interpreted this wrong, but the way they explained it is effectively, you know, you might have one guild that's in one of the dungeon rooms farming a certain boss or enemy type for resources, and they might be doing this for hours, and then another group might come along and be like, hey, we want to take out this boss or these enemies, can we do it? And if they say no, you can contest them, and I think you can fight them, and it kind of adds in another level of complexity to these dungeons. I mean, just looking at the scope of these dungeons right here, they're clearly big. They're not, you know, I can see why these aren't kind of LFG dungeons. I can see why LFG is not really in the game, because clearly you need a dedicated group to accomplish these. And I think just doing it with a bunch of kind of randoms that you're not talking to, maybe it wouldn't work out so well. So I kind of get why they've gone a bit old school. Now that I've kind of seen this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's how it looks to me at least. And then really, I've got one final main thing that I want to talk about. And that's kind of the naval content, the water content. IGN, too much water. With this game, there is a lot of water content, they've said. A lot of naval content, swimming, underwater, swimming, combat that you can do underwater, naval combat that you can do in like a boat with big groups of people. It sounds really fucking cool, man. It sounds really cool. It's going to be really interesting to see how that kind of unravels. I'm sure if you look at if you watched the original interview with Steven with Asmongold, there we go, that's what I was trying to say. Even he asks, will there be a Kraken? Will there be sea monsters? And Steven was like, yes, there will be. And that's really good to hear. And also, like, they need to nail this sort of aquatic content, because I'll be honest, when I play ESO, there's no aquatic content. Like, you can swim, sure, but you can't go underwater. And when you play, like, World of Warcraft, I don't know about you, but, like, I find World of Warcraft's water content so boring and dull. And just kind of, like, in BFA, when there's that area where you have to do it for the Alliance, you have to help out, like, those turtle people. I'm a casual at the end of the day with WoW. But I remember doing it and just hating it. Even when they give you the speed boost in the water, I was like, it's not really a great experience. So I really hope that this gets the time and effort that it deserves, so that it's an actual viable piece of content for people to go and enjoy. I think that's really my main thing. And that's pretty much it that I gathered from the July update. I mean, they showed more models. I think the Goblin now has colour on it. They showed like a laser beam ability and how that was working. They showed the actual swimming and how that looks so far. They showed like some spiders and the combat animations and some other things. So it all looks really interesting. Like every month it feels like there's a massive jump up. I think there is one more thing to mention though, and that is the game packages. So I got kind of the lowest tier one. Firstly, if you own the tiers, you can upgrade your tier, and it won't cost. It will cost whatever you kind of paid already, taken off. So I think it's like $75, and it's $150. So if you paid the $75 one, the next to upgrade to the next tier is $75, and so on. And I believe they said that those packages by, I think it's the 7th. It was either the 7th or the 20th of August. I've gotten the dates mixed up. Those kind of packages are going. I don't know if they're replacing them with new packages with different content, but they made it sound as if they kind of want to keep those items kind of prestigious and limited, and don't just want people pre-ordering for the sake of pre-ordering and just getting all, and like everyone in game when the game comes out is going to have these kind of pre-order items effectively. So worth noting, if you're thinking about pre-ordering to get some of the extra cosmetic stuff, you might want to dive in now, and you get a couple of months subscription, you get some cosmetic stuff. Depending on how much you pay, you can get a lot of cosmetic stuff and quite a few months and so on. So just worth considering for people. And that's pretty much it for this game. I just wanted to do a little update. I didn't want to talk for absolutely ages because I think at the end of the day, let me show, before I finish off, there's actually something really cool, and we saw it for a split second. Maybe if I go back. So here is the leveling up animation that they were showing. So this is why I will link this full thing below if you want to listen to them. It's really quite interesting. So as you can see, it's a nice little level up animation. Here's the laser beam. Oh no, that's a buff effect. I think the laser beam's here. There we go. Here's the laser beam. Looks pretty cool. And it's gonna, there we are, there it is again. Nice, like kind of like a liquid effect to it. Really like that. And there was also something that I really wanted to show. Let me see if I can find it. I'll edit it out probably, because it's probably going to take me a second to find it. Here it is. So this is effectively a statue that I think everyone's going to get. I could be wrong. Or maybe it's just people who have been a part of the community so far. Basically, it's to resemble humanity's struggle. It's going to be an in-game item that will go in your house, and it's going to be animated. And basically, it's to do with the struggle of humanity during 2020 and kind of COVID. Pretty cool, nice little gesture. I think it's free for everyone. I could be wrong about that, but it looks really nice, and it's cool to see little stuff like that. And then last thing, I'm going to show the swimming off, because actually the swimming was pretty cool, and I know some people are going to be interested in it. So here's the swimming. As we can see, let's start that up. This is how the swimming looks. You are going to be able to use your abilities under the water. So, yeah, I just hope it feels good, particularly if you're using the action combat. I don't think I've actually ever played a game with action combat and there being underwater kind of segments. So, I can only think of like actual action games like the latest Assassin's Creed Odyssey, when you swim and you're kind of using your weapons underwater. I can only really think of that. So I just hope it feels good. But otherwise, it looks pretty cool. So I'm going to leave it off here. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Ashes kind of content. I'm going to keep kind of following this game all the way up till release. And when the betas come along, I will make content for them. And yeah, it's shaping up really nicely. It's one of the few games that I'm like mega excited for. It's kind of up there with Cyberpunk and a few others. So really, really cool to see. And yeah, that's everything. So goodbye guys, and I'll see you guys next time.